The term family farm has a lot of meanings. A whole family working on the farm, each helping out in many different ways. It also means a farm with a legacy, a succession of families passing down the farm through multiple generations. Flip that around and you've got farm family. Farmers who are very diverse, yet share real bonds, like the love of the land, taking responsibilities seriously, working hard, and feeling there's nothing else they'd rather do. Any way you word it, Rusty and Hunter Grills know all about it. The Grills family has a farming legacy here in Newbern, Tennessee that goes back to the 30s, the 1830s. I'm Scott Kay with BASF, and we're here to talk with the Grills about their family and farm, about being on the leading edge with needed solutions like Engenia Herbicide, where they see their operation going in the future, and more.
I farm with my two brothers, my dad, on about a 3,000 acre diversified row crop operation. I have a wife I've been married to for 12 years. I have two little girls, one's 7 and one's 4, and they keep me going, and I love every minute of it.
Any conflicts that happen? Any butting of heads once in a while on the farm, or?
You know what? Yeah, there's always a conflict. But let me tell you, it's so, we're family at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Of course, we have different opinions, but we're family at the end of the day. We love each other, and we're gonna, we work through that.
What's it like growing up in a small rural town in Tennessee?
We're from Newbern, Tennessee, where I was born and raised. And we're actually about 20 minutes from Kentucky, Arkansas, and Missouri. So I have a lot of neighboring states that are close by. It's all I know. I'm very blessed to be part of this rural community. I do love the fact that you know everyone. It's a blessing. I'm happy to be a part of that.
So what makes you proud to be a farmer?
Well, just the opportunity that we have to feed the world and be a part of the greatest industry in the world. I sincerely believe that. And I've said many times we have the obligation, but the opportunity as well to feed a growing population. And it's very rewarding to go out and put my hands in the dirt, plant a crop, invest in that crop, nurture it, watch it grow, and then reap the benefits from it.
Season after season, farmers look for the best ideas and solutions to get the most out of every acre. They also look at the problems that hamper their success. And one of the biggest in recent years is resistant weeds. That's where Engenia Herbicide comes in.
We would like to start about the first week of April planting our corn, and plant corn for the first 2 to 2.5, 3 weeks of corn. Then we'll move right into our soybeans and start planting our soybeans. And personally, I'd like to be done planting soybeans by the 10th of May.
Okay.
But this year we're going to try to back some of those up and maybe even start planting the middle of April, which will be a little bit earlier than what we normally get started on.
When you sat down to put this year's farm plan together, what are your considerations for this year's crop?
Well, obviously price. When you're looking at forward pricing some of your crops, and you got to make sure that everything will pencil out on paper. But also rotation. Every third year, we try to make sure that every acre gets at least a different rotation on it to make sure that to help with weeds and foreign matter and the organic matter, and just to make sure the soil stays at a sustainable, healthy level. On
weed control, what's your consideration set? What are you trying to control?
Our problem weed is pigweed. It's a threat. We fight it, and we have fought it, and we're continuing to fight it. And you've got a product or two that we use that really helps in that battle.
So which products are you talking about? Engenia or?
Yes, we used Engenia last year, which we were 100% dicamba tolerant beans. So and we had great success last year with them. Ideally, we don't want to ever see a pigweed, but in today's world, they do come up. Nothing is 100%, but pre on top of pre on top of pre on top of pre on top of pre, and then if you have to use Engenia, you can.
So the economics of that is probably a challenge.
That is correct. It was unreal the amount of money we were spending on pre's trying to keep our crops clean. And it would work, but there comes a point when you have to stop spending money, or you will be unprofitable. And if you're unprofitable, you're out of business before long. So the Engenia is definitely a tool in the toolbox that we have. It's not necessarily the tool that we want to use every year, but we definitely want to be able to use it if we need it.
If you're like me and you read any ag news,
yeah,
you've seen some conversation about people who had success and people who didn't have success. So talk to me about what made it successful on your farm.
Well, what made it successful on our farm, I believe, is we talked to our neighbors before we applied it. When we were planting our soybeans, hey, I would call a neighbor and say, I'm over here, I'm planting this beside your cotton. I want to make sure that you know what kind of beans we're planting. What kind of cotton do you have? Making notes, talking to my brother, that he does a lot of the spraying, communicating with him, say, hey, we need to make sure we talk to these guys. He does the same thing with me, and go up, have a conversation with them, and let them know that we are there to work with them. We're not fighting with them. We're not in competition with them. We are their neighbors, and we want to make sure that we're neighbors at the end of the year as well as the beginning of the year.
How did your neighbor react when you called them?
They were very appreciative, but ultimately it's our responsibility, and we will make those phone calls to the neighboring farmers so that we have regular communication with them, so we know which fields they have where. And if there's an issue, if there's a certain crop that we're concerned about, then we may plant corn there or something just to rotate that field. Just using the best management practices.
Just like the weather, the future of farming is uncertain. What is certain is that growers like Rusty and Hunter, and who knows, maybe one day their kids, will need the support of the entire farming family.
Yeah, my dad's an 8th generation, and my two brothers and I we're 9th generation farmers, and my children will be the 10th generation.
Talk to me about the 10th generation. What do you envision for the 10th generation?
I envision giving them the best opportunity in the world. If they decide they want to spend their life farming on this farm, I want to make sure they have every opportunity to do that.